Our first guest of the year is frankly flippin' funny. He is an award-winning comedian who's currently curating the first ever virtual comedy Access Festival, where working from home just became smirking from home. So please welcome a man who'll make you laugh in the bath. It's elementary, my dear, Mark Watson.
All right, Mark.
And none of those slogans were done by me, by the way. That's all. You've just handed that to me for free. Unbelievable. Yeah. Smirking from
He's
home.
in a very giving mood today after
He
this
really
psilocybin experience.
That's gold. That's pre-PR that you've just done for the festival.
So, Mark, Access Festival, was it born in COVID, out of COVID, post-COVID?
Yeah, sort of. It was born of a revelation during COVID, which was that we did so much online comedy and loads of people really... loads of comedians enjoyed it because of the sort of level of interaction with the audience is surprisingly high, but also loads of people at home got really into it, and because there's a sort of a strange sense of community that built over the chat groups, and often if you're doing a Zoom gig, you can see the faces of the people in the windows, but then you can see them chatting with each other, with you. So it doesn't suit every comedian, but if you're like me and sort of permanently obsessed with what the audience are thinking, online is actually a really good platform to do it. And I got involved with various kind of cult-ish things during it, but then after the pandemic, well, touch wood, after the worst bit, after we came out of lockdown, a lot of the comedy industry started acting like it didn't matter anymore, like online Zoom gigs were sort of a fad, and a lot of the people that have been watching them said, no, we want this to continue, because loads of people can't get it. This is why it's called Access, this festival. A lot of people either aren't healthy enough mentally or physically to get out to this, or it's expensive, or you can't get childcare. There's loads of people basically that want to, I'm going to use it, laugh in the bath.
Yeah, or you can't be bothered.
Or you can't be bothered.
That's the bottom line.
I really don't blame you. Yeah, every time you do a theatre tour, even if it's sold out, you'll see empty seats, and it's people that had a hard day at work, and then when they got home looked at each other and went, "So it's just
not tonight."
And I don't. Whereas with an online show, you can just 3 minutes before decide to log on, and fair play. Basically, none of this is. Since I still obviously am touring theatres, I still love doing that and getting out there. But there's a whole world of online stuff which we can all be doing and building those communities, and we can have both. Basically, we can have it all.
And it's live and exclusive, and it's not live, and there's sort of gold there from a series of videography of gigs gone by.
Yeah, so the whole thing is the festival's called Access, and it's all hosted on Next Up, and almost all the shows are live in the room, so you're interacting with the comedian. I say in the room, they're not physically in your room, obviously, although I suppose the next step for this is just to go door to door.
If you win the monthly competition.
Literally knocking on people's bathroom doors saying, would you like a laugh in there?
Your sets. Access your sets.
Yeah. We'll have to, there'll be some legal paperwork to get through before we can officially take possession of people's homes. But yeah, also Next Up on their website have a massive archive, and they stream stuff all the year round. They did it in the Edinburgh Festival. I do think that it's quite easy now to stream stuff live and reach that audience, and obviously it is great being in the room. Like it depends on the room, actually. Live gigs in people's bathrooms are quite difficult to pull off just because capacity, but nothing will ever quite replace the sort of the comedy club vibe, the theatre atmosphere. But there's a sort of different pleasure from knowing we've had somewhere there's like 1,000 people all in different countries, different time zones, and that you couldn't do in a regular theatre show.
You
I
are
love
part
that.
of a gang, and people love being part of a gang.
Yeah, I've seen people form friendships and gangs and subgroups across continents. Some of them have never met, or they then come over and meet for the first time. So I think building something online is a really nice sort of supplement to what we do with live comedy, and it just brings more people in. Basically, it's why it's called Access. I feel like live comedy, a lot of people have been shut out of it for loads of reasons, or they just live in the wrong. There's people that live in sort of Bermuda, or, to be fair, just like near Hull, and there's just not that much happening. I'm not saying there's nothing in Hull. I'm just.
That sounds a very nice place to go, as I'm sure you're aware.
It is actually, yeah.
But also, you might not want to go to a comedy club or a bar. I mean, I love
exactly.
them. I love them, but I'm sort of over them because I did 20 years of it, and I wouldn't swap a second. But I still want the juice, but I don't want the journey.
Exactly. You see people on these shows, but they've got a baby in their lap, or like a dog. Sometimes it's just a dog, no person, and you just sort of think these guys aren't getting into the clubs. And yeah, also some people a comedy, even a comedy venue like my theatre shows, where it's quite a benign atmosphere, still not everyone wants to be in a crowd of 300 people. And yeah, the queuing, the parking, the crowds at the bar. A lot of people just aren't in a place in their life where they want that.
Also, if you have got kids, it's bath time. If the gig's on at 7:30, you can finish bath at 7:29 and you're straight to the gig.
That's the thing. Yeah,
you could
just be having your dinner during it. It's just and it's the way we do a lot of stuff. Like podcasts and things are so popular because you can be doing anything at the same time. I'm not suggesting. I'd rather people weren't sort of mowing the lawn while I'm on stage, but fair play.
Well, you wouldn't be against it.
I wouldn't be against it. In fact, it's great sometimes when I did one last week and there was a guy in Adelaide in South Australia he was on a bus for 11 hours. So for the 2 hours of the show, we kept going back to him. We looked out of the window of his bus. Stuff like that is
That's
great.
Funny, man.
I love it when people are doing weird stuff during the show.
Because you're doing this now, you are becoming sort of fluent with the currency, technically and sort of situationally at your fingertips.
Absolutely. The more
so
you do it,
have
the
the
more
confidence to tell him to look out the window and.
Absolutely. When we started doing Zoom gigs, and it's why a lot of comedians dismissed the idea, because the first ones were mostly awful. You couldn't work out how to get the sound.
Yeah, and also it's new learning. Who wants new learning?
Exactly. I'm in my 40s. I want to learn a new thing.
No, thanks.
But the first few times I saw Zoom and all of them, all these things. The first time someone said clean feed, I was like, no, I'm 40. I'm not. But yeah, pretty quickly, as you say, you develop a culture. Then the next time you do that show, other people have got on buses deliberately. That sort of stuff. That it reminds me a bit of what you used to do on the telly, actually, that thing where it builds its own culture, its own language, and then the following week people are already doing it more and more. Yeah. That kind of TFI Friday thing.
The mistake you don't want to make there, if you don't mind me saying, is it then doesn't take care of itself. Because that's what I did. I put a bit of work in for the first couple of years and then thought, it's its own community now. No, you've still got to water it and you've still got to give it the right amount of sunlight and things like that.
Yes, that is the thing, and I do commit quite hard to these things, and that's why I am basically going mad, but in a sort of fairly pleasurable way.
You've always been mad.
Yeah, that's the thing. I might as well channel it.
You're joyfully mad is what you are. You're a big fan, aren't you?
Yes,
I can tell straight away,
yeah.
Sinead.
It's very nice. I really like the atmosphere in here, by the way.
No, it's a triangulation of appreciation and gratitude for you and all your...
I could do with more triangulations like that, actually.
I know. Well, we'll talk about that off the air again afterwards, as we did before. So... The thing about you, I saw you on one of your first Zoom, mid-COVID comedy engagements, and it was for a pal's birthday party. You may remember, you may not.
I do remember, because I had to very specifically tailor the jokes to him being 67 or whatever it was, and that was quite tough.
Yeah, he's 57. But
is he only? Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, just seems older.
Yeah, and you nailed it, and I thought, how is this going to work? And I'm thinking, did you dial it down? Was it a different vibe? Was it different energy? But it was really, really extraordinarily funny.
Well, thank you. I think some of it was that in a situation like that where it's a birthday party, you get a lot of credit for just personalising it. So I found out probably an unhealthy amount about him, and then you're throwing jokes in about that time you were in Costa Rica or whatever. But like you would with the best man speech, but the difference is I hardly knew the guy at the time. So it's But then also what I do is, probably more than other people, is I do also do a lot of digging into other people that are at the gig. I love surprising someone by, like, very often you find out a bit about the audience members that are coming. Even with my live shows, I'll often be on, like, someone tweets going, I'm going to see Mark Watson. I will dig through their Twitter, and it turns out they've got a long running dispute with Argos or something. I'll make the show about that. I love doing stuff like that. Right. And so online shows do give you loads of opportunities to do that, because you can make it about the people that are there. Birthday party is a good example. It was a mad event. He had all sorts of he's a well-connected man, I think it's fair to say. I seem to remember I followed James Blunt singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which, you don't get that in many comedy clubs,
doesn't
really.
happen very often, to be honest. There you go.
I love the challenge of making it sort of making the gig take the shape of the audience and reacting to what they want.
So, you like to find out about the audience. What about other performers that are on this now? So we're talking about, if you just tune in, nextupcomedy.com/access is where you need to go for this online festival till the 23rd of Jan, and then you're sort of part of the gang who are streaming comedy all the time.
That's right. To get the festival, you buy a one-off pass, and then you have a subscription for the rest of the year. You're in, and then they do, I think it's 30 quid, and then it goes for the whole year, and they stream stuff constantly.
It doesn't seem unreasonable.
No, I think it's on the contrary, I think, in fact, it's mad value, really, because the amount of stuff they have on their website is...
So who else is on there? Who do you like that's on there?
Well, there's quite a few. There's Sarah Keyworth, Laura Lex, Bilal Zafar. Some of these people, these names will be only partly familiar to people, but a lot of them...
But that makes it more exciting.
For me, definitely.
Yes.
And a lot of them I've handpicked them because they're specialists in online comedy. They've got... There's a guy last night called John Robertson who does sort of interactive game. I'm doing an interactive game called The Company, where you like it's all on Twitter polls, and you vote like a choose your own adventure thing. You vote on the next step, and then depending on what you do, so that is in a couple of weeks' time. A lot of them are formats like this, which actually work better online than in a theatre.
Isn't it funny that there's now online comedy specialists?
Yeah, and not all of them are. There are people in the festival as well who are just like, and we're doing some that are just. There's a thing called Belly Laughs that is for food charities in Bristol, where you go around from different restaurants and bars, and you do multiple gigs in the same night. We're streaming that.
Brilliant.
We're streaming a club night from the Monkey Barrel in Edinburgh.
So you get the mayhem and the chaos as well involved in that.
Some of the stuff is just regular club comedy. Some of it is complete mayhem. But as you say, some of them are formats that people have come up with as a response to. And the pandemic, it's fair to say, I didn't like it. There weren't many pluses.
I think many people did like it.
I didn't rate it. No, it got terrible. If you look on TripAdvisor, it is or Trustpilot, it's gone down so badly. But one small plus was we did all have to be more creative. And so now it's nice to keep some of that creativity alive, I reckon,
it's funny though,
rather than just throwing it away.
Because you're describing all the options here. You know, it's like, do you want a sort of a three-disc gatefold Led Zepp album from 1967, a live recording, or do you want, I don't know, something more pithy and something more compact? Because it's all there for you.
Exactly, and you can sort of do both. Like I'm recording.
It's like your psilocybin trip. What kind of journey do you want? You know,
exactly.
Do you want a quick hit, or do you want to go to Vipassana silent retreat for 3 months? That kind of thing.
And that's the thing. That because we have online, digital, all these formats, we do live in a world where you sort of can't have any journey you want, I suppose, to slip into that language. But that is also quite daunting. You look around, sometimes you think, should I be doing a podcast or radio series or on? The range of options now for performers and creators is insane, but it does mean that you can kind of put stuff out there however you want.
I love it,
which is great.
I love it. And the reason you're finding it so exhausting, as you shared with us before you came on the air, is because you're doing what you're doing anyway, and you do it with such sort of thoroughness and attention. You know, finding out about audience members, you don't need to do that, but you know it's better for business, and you put all the work in, and you know, heavy lifting at the gym means easy lifting outside and all this kind of stuff. But also, you're breaking these boundaries of formats down all the time and relationships down all the time. And you know, we don't be, we interbe. And you know, when you're on stage, you interbe with everyone, and when you're on Zoom, you're interbeing with the whole wide world. So no wonder you're tired, mate.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You're allowed to be tired.
Yeah, my natural inclination is to just build something, see how it works out, but then build something on top of that. And if you go down the rabbit holes enough, then your brain is completely fried. But that's the only way I know how to interact with the world, basically, is to try and take every opportunity to go down every avenue.
And now and again you write a book in between.
Yeah, I'm doing that at the moment. I've got a novel to finish. I should be doing that now. I should have brought the notebook in here, really, but
I come here for a rest anytime you like.
It almost is that, actually. This is the easy bit. Yeah.
Right, Mark, we got to go. We're nearly up on time on the show, not just with this chat. Anything else you'd like to say to people listening?
Well, just to say, do get involved with online comedy. You know, it's overall talking about a gang and stuff, and it is that, but there's no aspect of it that's like too cultish, or you can go in and it's a very welcoming community as well. So I reckon Next Up is the place you want to be, and give it a go. I think it's exciting.
Nextupcomedy.com/access is where you need to go. That's Mark Watson. This has been Vassos. It's been Sinead. It's been himself. It's been the team. It's been our first show back after Christmas. It's been great to be here. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye.